Hey there, amazing people. I'm thrilled to have you here today. Welcome to our video on Sinjar. We're thrilled to have you here. Sinjar is a town in the Sinjar District of the Nineveh Governorate in northern Iraq. It is located about 5 kilometers south of the Sinjar Mountains. Its population in 2013 was estimated at 88,023 and is predominantly Yazidi. Now, it's time to shift gears and explore antiquity. From up right I left a map of the Jazira Upper Mesopotamia province in the early Islamic era. In the 2nd century AD, Sinjar became a military base called Singara and part of the Roman limes. It remained part of the Roman Empire until it was sacked by the Sasanians in 360. Starting in the late 5th century, the mountains around Sinjar became an abode of the Banu Taghlib, an Arab tribe. At the beginning of 6th century, a tribe called Qadiq, who were of either Kurdish or Arab origin, dwelt there. The Qadiq practiced idolatry. According to the early Islamic literary sources, Singara had long been a bone of contention between the Sasanian and Byzantine empires and several times switched hands between the two empires. A 6th source describes the population of Singara as being composed of pagans, Christians, and Jews. There are few visible traces of the ancient town of Singara. Brace yourselves for the next chapter, where we'll be dissecting Islamic era. From up right I left coin of Kut al-Din, the Zenjid ruler of Sinjar with representation of Roman Emperor Karkala, Sinjar mint 1199. Sinjar was conquered in the Urs by the Arab Muslims led by the commander Ayyad ibn Gam and thereafter incorporated into the Diyarbakir district of the Jazira province. In 970, the city was conquered by the Hamid dynasty, a branch of the Banu Taghlib tribe. Toward the end of the century, another Arab dynasty, the Uqaylids, captured the city and erected a citadel there. Beginning with the rule of the Turkmen Atabeg Jikamashin, Sinjar entered its most prosperous historical period lasting through the mid-13th century. The Zenjid ruler Nur ad-Din conquered the area in 1169 and 1171. In the latter year, a cadet branch of the Zenids was established in Sinjar under Zeni II, whose court was noted for its high culture. The scholar Ibn Shaddad 1186 noted that Sinjar was protected by a double wall, the first being the original wall built by the Uqaylids and the newer wall built by the local Zenjid ruler Qutb ad-Din Muhammad. Also noted by Ibn Shaddad were 2 mosques, 6 madrasas, schools of Islamic law for the Hanafi and Shafi's schools of jurisprudence, a masjid shrine dedicated to Ali ibn Abi Talib, and 3 Kangs buildings for Sufi gatherings, and Ibn al-Adim d. 1262 further notes a Zawiya Sufi lodge. A surviving mosque minaret from this era, remarked on by the 19th epigraphist Max van Berchem, contains an inscription crediting Qutb ad-Din as the minaret's builder in 1201. The city came under Ayyubid rule during the reign of Saladin and was controlled by the Ayyubid ruler of the Diyarbakir district of the Jazira, al-Ashraf Muzaffar al-Din. It later was controlled by the ruler of Mosul, Badr al-Din Luwu. The Ilkhanid Mongols destroyed the double wall of Sinjar and the Masjid of Ali in 1262. The masjid was rebuilt afterward by the Ilkhanid's Persian governor of the area Muhammad al-Yazi. Ibn al-Adam and al-Dahabi d. 1348 list several Islamic scholars who hail from Sinjar, including the polymath Ibn al-Akfani d. 1348. The geographers Khorya al-Kazwini d. 1283 referred to Sinjar as Little Damascus, noting in particular the similarities of Sinjar's ornate bathhouses with their mosaic-laced floors and walls and octagonal stone pools. During his visit of the city, Ibn Battuta d. 1369 mentioned that the inhabitants of the city were Kurds, whom he describes as brave and generous. He also remarked that Sinjar's congregational mosque was encircled by a perennial stream. The Timurid successors of the Ilkhanids captured Sinjar after a 7-month siege according to oral traditions cited by Evliya Elebi d. 1682. The city was later conquered successively by the Turkmen tribes of Ak Koyunlu and Kara Koyunlu before being taken by the Safavid dynasty of Iran. During the Ottoman-Safavid War, Sinjar was captured by the Constantinople-Istanbul-based Ottoman Empire in 1534. The city became the center of its own Sinjar district within Diyarbakir Eyalet province of Diyarbakir. It was later reduced to being the administrative center of its own Niya subdistrict of the Mardin Sinjar. Writing in the 17th century, Evliya Elebi noted that the population of the city of Sinjar was composed of Kurds and Arabs from the Banu Tay tribe, while the Sinjar Mountains were inhabited by 45,000 Yazidi and Baburi Kurds. After 1830, the Niya of Sinjar became part of the Mosul Sanjak. During the 19th century, the Yazidis of the Sinjar Mountains often posed a threat to travelers in the region. The governor Dawud Pasha of Baghdad in office was unable to suppress the Yazidis, and the Yazidi revolts were ended after the diplomatic efforts of the Ottoman statesman Midhat Pasha enabled the authorities to tax and impose customs in the area. As we progress, let's zoom in on modern era and examine its role in shaping our overall narrative. 5 neighborhoods in the city of Sinjar were Arabized during a campaign by the Iraqi government of President Saddam Hussein dubbed as a modernization drive. The neighborhoods were Barbars, Sarai, Kalhi, Ba and Barshi, whose inhabitants were relocated to the new towns or elsewhere in Iraq and replaced by Arabs. The majority of the Arabs resettled in the Sinjar Mountains have remained in the region as of 2010. On 13 August 2009, a suicide bombing killed 21 people and wounded 32 in a cafe in the Kola neighborhood of Sinjar. On 14 August 2010, a series of truck bombings by Al-Qaeda in Iraq in the towns of Qutniya and Al-Jazira, both in the Sinjar district, killed 326 Yazidis and injured 530 more. According to Statistical Survey of the Sinjar district in 2013, the city of Sinjar had a population of 77,926. The ethnic composition of the city consisted of Kurds, Arabs, Turkmens, and Assyrians, and the religious composition consisted of Yazidis, Sunni Muslims, and Christians. There were 23 primary schools, 3 intermediate schools and 7 secondary schools, a hospital, 2 other healthcare facilities, 3 public parks and 2 sports fields. The town had 3 churches, a Syriac Orthodox Church, Syriac Catholic Church, and Armenian Apostolic Church, all of which were destroyed by the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant. In the upcoming section, we'll be dissecting Northern Iraq Offensive 2014 and exploring its implications in greater detail. Northern Iraq Offensive 2014. In the course of their second Northern Iraq Offensive in August 2014, the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant ISIL took over large areas of Nineveh province. Following the withdrawal of the Kurdish Peshmerga, they captured the city of Sinjar on 3 August. During the following days, IS militants perpetrated the Sinjar massacre, killing 2,000 Yazidi men and taking Yazidi women into slavery, leading to a mass exodus of Yazidi residents. According to a United Nations report, 5,000 Yazidi civilians were killed during ISIL's August offensive. It is also known as the genocide of Yazidis by ISIL. The genocide was enabled partly as a result of the Peshmerga flight from the ISIL offensive, which left the Yazidis defenseless. On the night of 20 December 2014, in the course of a first offensive to retake Sinjar from ISIL militants, Kurdish forces pushed into the city. However, the Kurdish advance into Sinjar was stalled, as they faced stiff resistance from ISIL militants inside the southern half of the city. On 13 November 2015, a day after launching a major second offensive, Kurdish forces and Yazidi militias backed by US airstrikes entered the city and fully regained its control from ISIL. Following the recapture, in the nearby hamlet of Sola, east of Sinjar city, Kurdish forces found a mass grave with the remains of at least 78 Yazidi women from Koko village believed to be executed by ISIL militants. Following the recapture of Sinjar, Yazidi groups engaged in revenge looting and burnings targeting Sunni Muslims, as well as reprisal killings. In this part of the video, we'll be delving deeper into Declaration of Autonomy and analyzing its key components. In August 2017, the Yazidis of Sinjar declared their government autonomous at a press conference. Peshmerga forces withdrew from Sinjar on 17 October 2017, allowing the Iraqi army and the Popular Mobilization Unit's PMU to enter the town. The control of the town was handed over to the PMU-backed Yazidi group called Los Brigades after Peshmerga's withdrawal. In June 2020, the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom accused Turkey that during the operations Claw Eagle and Claw Tiger, Turkey threatened Yazidi families who attempted to return to their homes in the town. Turkey rejected the claims. In 2021, the Iraqi government called for the local Yazidi protection forces who had fought ISIS in Sinjar to withdraw, which was rejected by the Yazidi administration. This has led to international calls for the Iraqi army to de-escalate and withdraw from the region. As we transition, let's shed light on notable people and its relevance to our ongoing exploration. Ahmad Sinjar, Sultan of the Seljuk Empire. Don't forget to check out my other videos for more valuable content.